Hello, this is the second of the series of lectures on the Metropolitan discipline, and this time we are going to talk about the Metropolitan Genoma. In the previous presentation, we saw how metropolises are different from cities, and they have to be dealt in a different way. And today we are going to see how those metropolises work and are so different from cities. When you have to make a decision in planning, in decision makers, in politics, in the investment of the budget of a public administration, you always have a dichotomy, a struggle between looking for economic efficiency or for social equity. The phenomena of economic efficiency requires that you invest more, you concentrate more to be more efficient. The social equity needs require that you disperse more among the larger population to provide them the basis to grow and to be involved more and more into the economic processes. So you have there a dichotomy, and that is one of the basic problems of ruling a metropolis. That dichotomy cannot be solved rationally. We have many instruments to maximize economic efficiency. We have instruments to disperse and to reach the people most in need in social equity with those budgets. But we do not have an instrument to make the balance of those. And that is why that balance is subjective, has many, many elements that articulate it. And so that's why that balance is done in a democratic system by elections. It's the population that look for that balance. So that's why you have a political party that is offering economic efficiency mainly, and you have another political party which is offering social equity. And it's the population that decide that in one moment in history it's better to make the effort for economic efficiency or it's better to make it for social equity. And in that dichotomy, the third element is the physical environment. Not only the artificial, the natural, the artificial was the cities and the countryside, and they are all the physical environment with the infrastructures, with the housing, with all those elements that can in some way ease the tension and the dichotomy between the economics and the social objectives. In economy, the objective is efficiency. In social, the objective is equity. In physical environment, the objective is sustainability. We have to provide a sustainable environment and a base for the social equity and the economic efficiency, but a sustainable environment for the... And those elements as well struggle. For instance, economic development, if you are only looking for economic development, you can infringe, you can destroy a natural environment, the ecology, the environment. So you have to restrain that. There are less problems between the social equity and the urban environment, but for instance, if you set up a city which is not accessible to all, you are marginalizing a lot of people to have access to the goods they deserve, they need, and they are entitled to. So you see there are conflicts between all these three elements, and who is in charge of making the balance, the equilibrium between these three elements which are in conflict is the governance. And we are not talking about governance only in terms of government. We are talking about the dialogue between the government and the private sector, the public sector and the private sector. And their role is to balance the efforts in economic efficiency, social equity, and environmental sustainability. And it's not an easy job, no? And the dialogue between those two elements, the private and the public, when it's well done and looking not only for the immediate results but for the long purpose, is what makes metropolitan management and metropolitan planning work well. These theories are not out of the blue. They come from the European Union. They applied this kind of approach in the 1990s with the four capitals trade-off policies. Whatever investment, it had to balance these elements. And it comes as well from Spangenberg and Boniot proposals for sustainability in management of cities and countries. And it provided this kind of shape of the pyramid. So we are working on theories that have proved to be working right for already 20, 25 years, and that's what we are developing in metropolitan manager. Is a bit more complicated. As you see, the elements in themselves have sub-elements, subsystems, and that is what we are going to look in the next presentation. We're going to go through the economics, through the socials, through the physical, and through the governments, and to see the elements that compose this. And those elements, like, for instance, in the physical, you have the continuous system and the discontinuous system. For instance, environment and transport are continuous systems, but housing, productive activities and social facilities are discontinuous systems. These two subsystems, we are going to look at that in the next presentations. As you see, the system is much complex, and we must understand that complexity to be able to manage a metropolis, because the elements, the effects of one to the other are extremely important. For instance, if you have a better education, so that is a social component for all, a better education, you will be able to improve the productivity of the economic system. If you are able to increase the productivity of the economic system, the firms will be able to pay higher taxes. If those taxes are higher, you will be able to provide social facilities for the population. And those social facilities for the population will improve their capacity to improve their education and to improve their way of living. So you see, they are all related, and you follow the effects of one to the other, and you cannot approach metropolitan management just with one policy in one of the sectors, misunderstanding what are going to be the effects, the spin-off, and the ricochets in the other elements. You must realize all of that to be able to really manage a metropolis. And there are positive effects and there are negative effects. We do not have time to look at that, because that is the development of the metro gaps that we are studying right now at MIT and the Milano Politecnico. But that approach is the need for a metropolitan manager to understand how to deal with the metropolis. Next presentation is going to be about the component element. So we are very happy to have you listening, and we suggest you continue with the next presentation. Thank you very much.